Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this day with Quimper Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. Come whoever you are, we welcome you. We know you come here for different reasons, to find community, to seek your spiritual and personal truths, to question, to nurture your heart and soul, to be nurtured, to explore new ideas, to find comfort, and perhaps to find answers to some of your bigger questions. We welcome you. We know you come from different places, different religions, different beliefs, and different backgrounds. We hope you will find comfort, connection, challenge, and love here. We hope you will find ways to provide outreach to others in our fellowship, in our local community, and in our world community. My name is Sarah Walker. I'm a member of the board here at QUUF, and as we gather, I acknowledge that the water, land, and shorelines here in Port Townsend are the traditional territory of the S'Klallam and Chimicum peoples. We honor and acknowledge our Indigenous members and neighbors, and vow to help restore and sustain these homelands. If you're visiting today, I offer a special welcome and invite you to join us for refreshments and conversation in the fellowship hall, which is to your right as you exit after the service. We also have a newcomers table near the patio doors where our greeters are ready to answer any questions you might have. Welcome to you all this morning. We are glad you're here. We're at the tail end of our auction, and here's Violet Pritzer with auction news.
Thank you. Well, I'm Violet Spritzer, Rose's identical twin sister. Something came up, and she's so sorry she had to hightail it out of town, but she asked me to read her updates for you. And so this is what Rose wrote. Rose wrote, "What a grand event it was. Music, the epic slideshow, raffle baskets, the fund in need, delicious light bites, s'mores, friends, fun, fellowship, and stellar weather for 3 bonfires. Who could ask for anything more? What did the fund need raise, you ask? Our goal is $19,000. We raised a total of $14,400. That's online and last night, both together. Hurrah. Thank you to everyone who worked on the auction, contributed to the auction, and the fund in need. But wait, I just said contributed in the past tense. The auction doesn't end until 6 o'clock this evening. When?
6 o'clock.
Oh, yes, that's 6 o'clock this evening. We have 3 ways we can support the auction. You can bid on items, you can donate to the fund in need, and funds will go to support projects that create accessibility and safety. Or 3, did you know that you can just go and donate to the auction? There's a button that says donate, and if you don't want another item, you can just top it up or add and donate that way, or you can make out a check and write auction in the memo line. And now on to housekeeping. On Monday or soon after, you'll get an email telling you what you've won. If you've donated to the auction this year, you'll get a list of people who won your donation. Please pick up your items this week, Tuesday through Thursday from 10 to 3. When are we going to pick up our donations? Tuesday. 10 to 3. Yes, Tuesday to Thursday. 10 to the auction team will be so grateful because at the tail end, as you said, at the tail end, if we can wrap it up, it makes a difference. Now, thank you for a wonderful auction. I can't wait to see how much we raise. And don't forget, be bold in your support of QUF. Be bold. And as you can see, bold decisions were made in the kitchen last night. Oh! Finally, the auction isn't just about dollars, it's about fulfilling our mission, which is we come together to seek our truths, honor our diversity, serve with love, and work for justice in the world. Supporting the auction helps us fulfill our mission. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, I have to just add a comment. I'm just overwhelmed with the goodwill and energy that provided that event for us. Thank you. Okay, so on to another wonderful event. Linda and her husband Peter, Linda, our minister, for those of you who may be visiting, and her husband Peter will be hosting our Thanksgiving potluck this month. And if you'd like to sign up and attend, please do. Sign-ups are in the foyer just outside the sanctuary, just to your left as you exit. Our lovely flower arrangement today was donated by Kyan and Roger Anderson in memory of their parents. Now let us settle our minds and calm our hearts.
Something told the wild geese it was time to go. Though the fields lay golden, something whispered snow. Whispered snow. Leaves were green and stirring, berries luster closed, but beneath warm feathers, something cautioned crossed. All the sagging orchards teemed with amber spice, while each one was stiffened and remembered ice. Something told the wild geese it was time to fly. Summer sun was on their wings. Winter in their
That was beautiful. Thank you so much for the choir. My name is Reverend Jennifer Alviar, and delighted to be with you together this morning. We come together in the spirit of love, creating sacred space to share life's transitions embracing diversity and growing our souls. As we tell our stories and deepen our bonds, we share our hearts and help to heal the world collectively. Come, let us gather in fellowship together.
Our opening words: we come together in the spirit of love, creating sacred space to share life's transitions, embrace diversity, and grow our souls. As we tell our stories and deepen our bonds, we share our hearts and help to heal the world together, which you just
In
read.
unison, togetherness. This is great.
Here are our chalice opening words. May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love and service to the altar of humanity. May we know once again that we are not isolated beings, but connected in mystery and miracle to the universe, to this community, and to each other. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, the flame of love is still continuing. We're not extinguishing.
Sorry.
We're improvising.
Okay.
Thank you.
If you'll rise for the opening hymn. My life flows on in endless song above His lamentation. I hear the real, though far off hymn that hails a new creation. Through all the tumult and the strife, I hear the music ringing. It sounds an echo in my soul. How can I keep from singing? What though the tempest round me roars? I know the truth it liveth. What though the darkness round me close? Songs in the night it giveth. No storm can shake my inmost calm, while to that rock I'm clinging. Since love prevails in heaven and earth, how can I keep from singing? When tyrants tremble as they hear the bells of freedom ringing, when friends rejoice both far and near, how can I keep from singing? To prison cell and dungeon vile, our thoughts to them are winging. When friends by shame are undefiled, how can I keep from singing?
I invite anyone and everyone, this is time for all ages, and please join me for a story. at it. Big. All right. So this is going to be a fun one. This is written by Kobe Yamada. How are we doing on the sounds? The Kobe Yamada and illustrated by May Besson. And it's called What Do You Do with a Problem? Can everyone see over here? These are the...
Look, it's two pics on the back.
It does. I know there are pictures on the back, too. So here we are. I don't know how it happened, but one day I had a problem. I didn't want it. I didn't ask for it. I really didn't like having a problem, but it was there. Why is it here? What does it want? What do you do with a problem? I wanted to make it go away. I shooed it. I scowled it. I tried to ignore it, but nothing worked. It just followed him.
Where is he?
Yeah. What do you think how he's feeling?
He's feeling scared because he thinks that it's going to suck him in.
That's a good, yeah, I could feel that way too sometimes. Yeah, you too? I started to worry about my problem. What if it swallows me up? You're good. Wow, you're really following this well. So here are the pictures here. What if my problem sneaks up and gets me? Sometimes it just feels so big.
I think that he should run home and say, Mama, something's chasing after me.
Something's chasing after me. Yeah. Family's good for that too. So he's following and wondering what's happening. Things are swirling and just, he's on an adventure. What if it takes away all my things? Kind of like your toys and things, your stuffies, things that are special.
I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah. And he's, he's feeling his feelings. Kind of a lot of mix of feelings here. I worried a lot. I worried about what would happen. I worried about what could happen. I worried about this and I worried about that. Yeah, worries take all different shapes and forms. Yeah, like that. And the more I worried, the bigger my problem became. So you see the birds flying around.
Well, look, here's the
And now it's raining, right?
bear.
Bears and rain and bunnies, too. I wish it would just disappear. I tried everything I could to hide from it. I even found ways to disguise myself, but it still found me. See here? We've got.
How come we can't see how he disguised himself?
Well, let's find out. That's a good question. So it just found me. So he's got an umbrella, and it's just getting really windy here. And he's trying to figure out what's going on. So he said, I couldn't take it anymore. This has to stop, I declared. Maybe I was making my problem bigger and scarier than it actually was. After all, my problem hadn't really swallowed me up or attacked me. See, everything's in place. See here. I realized that I had to face it. So it has kind of a look of determination, you think? He's ready to take it on. And so he's got machines and swirl of things, swirl of ideas and possibilities. So even though I didn't want it, even though I was really afraid, I got ready and I tackled my problem. Look, he's got goggles on. He's really tackling. When I got face to face with it, I discovered something. My problem wasn't what I thought it was. I discovered it had something beautiful inside. So it's swirling, and then the birds. He's on a journey.
Look, you forgot the other side.
I think I discovered there's something beautiful inside, and then, so that's tackle that, this one. And there's just sunshine. Look, he's got his goggles, and there's sunshine streaming here, and there's this glow with that. He is really discovering new things. He said, my problem held an opportunity. It was an opportunity for me to learn and grow, and to be brave and do something different. It showed me that it was important to look closely because some opportunities only come once. Look, this, here, can you see here?
What happened to the grade?
What's that?
What happened?
Well, I think there's some pages are just illustrations and some have words. So this is another one where, look, he's at a lighthouse. All the directions here, more glowing.
Oh, I see a wow.
And now he's got his bear, look. The bear and the, right.
Oh, there's a
Bunny,
too.
you think that, I know, so much going on.
I'm using colors.
So now, I see problems differently. I'm not afraid of them anymore because I know their secret. See, there's more glow. I know, you can see the, and there's a ship flying. So the secret, every problem has an opportunity for something good. You just have to look for it. All right, well, thank you for joining me for our story and journey. We're on a journey of some sort.
Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
Thank you, Doug. We pause for a time of generosity and to receive an offering, which today goes to Center Valley Animal Rescue, and John Collins will speak briefly about their work. Then the ushers will come among you to receive the offering, and additional ways to give will be projected on the screen. John?
I'm going to sit down this morning, get in my chair. This is on, is it now? Mm-hmm. Good. As an all-volunteer organization, the Center Valley Animal Rescue did not have a person that they could send today, but they gave me a message that I'll read to you. Center Valley Rescue is committed to providing safe harbor and rehabilitation for unwanted, injured, and abandoned domesticated as well as wild animals, thereby decreasing the number of unnecessary euthanasias. We believe all creatures have inherent value, a right to life, and are entitled to have their basic needs met in a kind and caring manner. Center Valley Rescue is dedicated to finding loving homes for all adoptable animals in our care, and we offer permanent sanctuary to the domestic animals that cannot be adopted and the rehabilitation and release of wild animals. As our dedicated volunteers and generous contributors well know, we are an entirely nonprofit volunteer animal rescue sanctuary. We're a community resource, and we're here because we are needed. Whether it's housing overflow from the county and other shelters, or actively rescuing neglected animals in desperate need of intervention, we are a ranch that gives animals a second chance. We rely upon the time, talent, and treasures of the community to feed, house, and provide medical care for animals in need. Any amount that each of you can contribute is deeply appreciated, and also consider becoming a volunteer. And finally, an open invitation to join us at our annual holiday open house, which this year is on December 2nd, a Saturday. This is a community event, and we and our animal guests would love to see you there. Thank you for your kindness and generosity.
Thank you, John. And now we'll have Joy Thou Goddess from the QUF Choir. Thank you, choir. You sound really great today. Now is our time to share joys and sorrows. We recognize that our personal joys and sorrows are only a fragment of the joys and sorrows of the larger community of life. On this Veterans Day weekend, we place this first stone in gratitude for the service to our country by those in the military, in memory of those who died in that service, and with the hope for peace to prevail across all the places where wars are being fought. And now, within the congregation, John and Mary welcome Benjamin Charles, their 6th grandchild, on November 9th. Unfortunately, they were unable to greet him down in Portland as John had more knee surgery, but he's once again on the road to recovery. That's a stone is placed for that. We place a candle of gratitude to this community and to our interfaith neighbors which raised a total of $24,217.83 and 1,696 pounds of food for our local food banks during the month of October. We light a candle of joy to all of you who came to our auction event last night and to all of the wonderful volunteers who made it such a success. We also light a candle of joy for 3 of our youth, Olivia, Stella, and Kestrel, along with advisor Cynthia Becker, who are still at a youth conference in Vancouver, BC, and will be returning later today. Jasira board members ask us to place a stone for Larry Jensen, our board chair, who just had to resign unexpectedly to advanced prostate cancer. And we ask that you hold Jasira and Larry in your hearts. We place a final stone, holding in our hearts the joys and sorrows I've just shared, but also thinking of such joys and sorrows among us that are unexpressed, but no less worthy of, no less importance. Thank you.
As we gather for our meditation, I invite us to settle in and reflect on what is stirring in our souls. Sometimes it takes a crisis, like our global health pandemic of 2020, to cause us to slow down, shift gears, and settle into a deeper, more soulful rhythm to life. This was true for me. I feel blessed to live in walking distance to the Washington Park Arboretum in Seattle. Over the years, I noticed the peaceful memorial benches placed throughout the Arboretum. Their restful presence invites people to pause, sit, and relax in this beautiful, sheltered green space. But I never stopped to accept this invitation. I was too busy, caught up in the busyness of life. However, the pandemic changed all that for me. As I shifted gears to a slower pace, I decided to sit down on one of the benches and read the words inscribed on the plaque. This one read, "Patience, forgiveness, gratitude." This moving reflection prompted me to walk through the whole Arboretum and stop at each bench to read each inscription. One reflected a simple invitation to celebrate the present moment. Sit, meditate, enjoy. Another spoke to the spirit of life, love, adventure, laughter. Still another highlighted the beauty of life, elegance, resilience, charm. In truth, what we hold sacred and holy lies in plain sight every day, frequently found in nature. May we have the presence of mind to witness these moments and the presence of heart to receive them. I invite us to pause and gather ourselves and reflect on these 3 words that may lead us into a more soulful way of being. Let us enter into a time of silence and meditation for a few moments. Amen and blessed be.
There's a reading. We can switch. This reading is an excerpt from Sabbath by Wayne Mueller. There is a hum the earth makes. When seasonal winds pass over wave and mountain, all across the earth and sea, a sound is born, a low-frequency pulsation audible to migrating birds thousands of miles away. By listening to the music of the earth, birds find their way home. Many birds also possess an inner orientation to true north. When they fly at night, they use the patterns and movements of the stars to guide their flight. Even in a planetarium with the night sky projected on the ceiling, birds fly in rhythm with the seasonal stars. And now we'll have special music, which is Turn the World Around by Harry Belafonte and Robert Friedman, sung by the QUF Choir.
Living in the fire, go back to the fire, turn the world around. We come from the fire, living in the fire, go back to the fire, turn the world around. Go back to the fire, turn the world around. We come from the fire, living in the fire. Go back to the fire, turn the world around. Turn the world around. We come from the mountain, living in the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around. We come from the mountain, living in the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around. Oh, so is life. Oh, so is life. So is life. Oh, Fire, make the sunlight turn the world around. Water, make the river, river, wash the mountain. Fire, make the sunlight turn the world around. Heart is of the river, body is of the mountain. Spirit is the sunlight, turn the world around. Heart is of the river, body is of the mountain. Spirit is the sunlight, turn the world around. We come from the mountain, living in the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around. We come from the mountain, living in the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around. Oh, so is the life of my one. So is the life. Oh, so is the life of my one. So is the life.
Thank you, choir. The Reverend Jennifer de Busque Alviar is an ordained Unitarian Universalist minister whose unique call is to expand the welcome table of hospitality, inclusion, and liberation. To this end, she cultivates positive relationships with community organizations tailored to healthcare and the environment. Reverend Jennifer received her Master of Divinity degree at Star King School for Ministry in Berkeley, California, and she currently lives with her family on the traditional land of the Duwamish people in Seattle, Washington.
Thank you, Jane. I am on my way to Mexico for a sunny, relaxing winter vacation. As I board the bus, I notice fellow resort travelers, and I see an influx of instruments around me. I spot a cello, a viola, and several violins. As luck would have it, my chosen vacation week at Rancho La Puerta happens to coincide with a lively chamber music orchestra festival. Perfect. I'll enjoy some classical music along with the sunshine. What I do not anticipate, however, was the prominent role that Beethoven would play in reshaping my theology as a Unitarian Universalist minister. Thank you for playing some Beethoven music earlier, singing. In particular, the unique way in which music helps us become more attuned to our human nature and the natural world. This musical, nature-based theological connection unfolds through a series of whimsical twists and turns. I join my fellow hikers early Tuesday morning to trek up a mountain for a breakfast concert hike. Along the way, my eyes take in a magnificent sunrise. As I gaze up on the hillside, I am surprised and delighted at the sight of a violinist playing a melodic tune. Another violinist appears further up the mountain. It turns out that Monique Mead, the artistic director of this chamber music festival, has creatively woven random acts of music. This is as part of her interdisciplinary approach. After arriving at the top of the mountain and enjoying a delicious breakfast, we are ushered into an intimate setting with the Miro Quartet, who begins the performance. I have never had the privilege of being so close up to a concert like this before, especially not one in which we can be perfectly at ease enjoying exquisite music in our hiking boots. I'm immediately drawn to the dynamic interplay between music and musicians. I notice how attentive each musician is to each other. They work seamlessly together in coordinating their timing, rhythm, notes, breath, sound, and harmony. I do not have a background in music theory. As a minister, however, I am keenly attentive to this particular theological challenge. I identify the discordant notes of our human lives and exploring ways to create harmony in the midst of struggle. Following this sensory musical experience, I find myself trying to name what I felt that morning. And then it hits me. I have an aha moment. The word I'm looking for is attunement. Attunement embodies all the elements of harmony and human connection. But I'm struggling to integrate this musical experience in a larger theological context. So I decide to hold that thought for later. For now, I'm heading over to a Beethoven talk led by violist John Largesse from the Miro Quartet in anticipation for this evening's concert. John begins by setting the context of Beethoven's early period. Beethoven is a famous pianist with a big ego. He is edgy, raw, defiant. During the classical period of the mid-18th, early 19th century and into the Romantic period of the mid-19th, early 20th century, music was intended to be pleasant. Beethoven doesn't follow suit. Some people find his style off-putting. Others find it captivating and cutting edge. During this early period, Beethoven is accepted into the Viennese aristocracy. Prominent people from the nobility class finance his artistic livelihood. Beethoven has it made. And right at the height of his glory, Beethoven's world comes crashing down. This is known as Beethoven's middle period or heroic period. It marks a time of great adversity. His mentor, Haydn, dies. Napoleon invades Vienna. Beethoven proposes to his beloved. She denies him. His finances deteriorate. His brother dies, leading him into a lengthy court battle with his sister-in-law to secure custody of his nephew. In the midst of all of this, Beethoven becomes deaf. He withdraws from society and stops composing for several years. This kind of adversity, in theological terms, is often called the dark night of the soul. It is coined by the Spanish mystic John of the Cross. In Beethoven's case, he doesn't experience just one or two dark nights of the soul. Instead, he encounters a dark artistic tangle of the soul. At the brink of despair, Beethoven contemplates suicide. Poised on the edge between life and death, Beethoven chooses life. Why? Here is how he expresses it in his letter to his brothers, known as his Heiligenstadt Testament. I would have put an end to my life. Only art it was that withheld me. It seemed impossible to leave the world until I had produced all that I felt called upon me to produce. Beethoven's words captivate me. I want to learn more. So, the next day, on my morning ritual hike up the mountain, I had the good fortune of hiking with Monique, the chamber music director. I say with some urgency, Monique, I have to ask you something about Beethoven's character. Did Beethoven ever come to peace with his life? Did he find hope in the midst of struggles? Was he able to reconcile his human pain and suffering with grace and gratitude for his musical gifts? Monique pauses and considers my questions. Then she says, "It's complicated." While Beethoven was always rough and ill-mannered on the outside, he maintained very high ideals and a love of humanity. He was moved by the German poet and philosopher Friedrich Schiller, who wrote Ode to Joy. This poem stated what his soul believed. Beethoven wanted art to uplift humanity. This is what inspired Beethoven to compose a musical rendition of Ode to Joy for his Ninth Symphony. Beethoven's personal challenges, in fact, enhanced his musical gifts. He learned to rely on his inner ear for artistic instinct and guidance. He shifted from being a great performer to being a great composer. In the end, music served as a container in which Beethoven experienced moments of grace. Moments of grace. Yes, when human nature is complex, and Beethoven is no exception. Perhaps this is why it makes sense to take an interdisciplinary approach towards reflecting on the word attunement in the context of grace and atonement. When we find ourselves in grace-filled moments with nature, music, and beauty, like I experienced on my morning breakfast concert hike, our natural instinct is one of praise. We get outside ourselves. We move beyond our egos. In Monique's documentary, Beethoven in the Face of Adversity, she speaks of the indomitable human spirit that we have within us. The spirit that allows Beethoven to compose his violin concerto even though he was deaf. That spirit that allows us to rise up and conquer the adversities within us that we face every day. This spirit, this grace, this resilience are beautiful aspects of our human nature on a soul level. However, in order to accept the soulful nature within, we must also be willing to surrender and let go of our own agendas and assume a posture of humility versus certitude. This is not easily done. Atonement, therefore, might be conceived as our resistance towards surrendering and facing the darker forces within us. This, too, is part of our human nature. Quaker educator and activist Parker Palmer wisely expresses it in these words: "Violence is what happens when we don't know what else to do with our suffering." Our inability to bear our own pain leads us to commit a multitude of transgressions through the act of othering those on the margins. This includes racial inequities, gender inequities, religious intolerance, cultural genocide, and environmental degradation, to name just a few. To atone for our failings places us in a posture of humility. When we acknowledge our human fallibility and seek reconciliation, then it can open us up to moments of grace. But how exactly do we enter into this practice of atonement to move us towards attunement? The world's religions offer a diverse spiritual disciplines, prayers, rituals, and sacraments to atone for our human shortcomings. Within the context of human nature and the natural world, I am drawn to the work of Bill Plotkin. He is an ecologist and wilderness guide with a background in depth psychology. Plotkin helps us understand the process of soul work by building upon Carl Jung's work on dreams, along with mythology and human development. In his book, Nature and the Human Soul, Plotkin describes the dark night of the soul as an opportunity to transform a core wound into a sacred wound. In Beethoven's case, his deafness represents his core wound. He loses access to the outer world of sound, leading to a crisis of identity. Yet, when he relies on his inner ear, he composes exquisite works of music. In fact, it has been said that Beethoven rested his head on the piano to feel the music's vibrations when he couldn't hear the musical notes themselves. His deep attunement to his interior world of artistry transformed his core wound into a sacred wound. Music is Beethoven's window into grace. Consider your own lived experiences. In a world that is commonly referred to as a vale of tears, how might you encounter your own core wound to transform it into a sacred wound? How might your reflection and understanding of suffering invite you into moments of grace? This invitation towards deeper soul-making awaits each of us at every moment. It is now Friday morning, the last day of my vacation. As part of Monique's continuation of random acts of music, she invites John Kimura Parker, also known as Jackie Parker, to play some peaceful piano music at the end of our meditation session. Jackie embodies a lighthearted ode to joy, spirit, and personality and humor. I ask him, what practices do you find most helpful in keeping musicians attuned to each other and their music? He laughs and says, well, we spend a lot of time tuning our instruments. But I guess you could say that we are all working together on creating a collective sense of at-one-ment with music. I smile. I feel lit from within. This is my own ode to joy moment as a minister. This week-long musical and linguistic journey has enriched my understanding and appreciation of the word attunement in partnership with the word at one-ment. Monique expresses it best in these words, and I'm suspecting the choir might agree. Attunement is the ultimate act of awareness and empathy. Imagine yourself as a musician collaborating in concert with other musicians. While you are playing your part, attuned to your own self, breathing, purity of note, and musical intention, you are also intimately aware and adjusting to the sounds, impulses, and intentions coming from the musicians around you. And you're adjusting it to you're giving up your own ego to align with a greater whole, becoming one, a single unit of multiple voices at one-ment. I pray that we as a community of faith may stay attuned to each other and bring forth a greater sense of at one-ment in service to others. May it be so. Amen, shalom, salam, namaste, and ashe. For our closing words, may we remember our deep connection and belonging to each other in a spirit of at-one-ment. And may we remember our deep connection to the earth and the music of the spheres. Go in peace, go in joy, go in love. And for extinguishing the chalice, we extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.